Okay, let's dive right into this. We tend to think about wealth as just a number, right? A destination you finally arrive at. But what if it isn't a place at all? What if it's more like a language, a completely different way of seeing the world? We're going to break down the psychology of wealth and explore this idea that real financial freedom, it doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your mind.
And it all kicks off with the kinds of questions you ask yourself. The first one, how can I afford that? Well, it kind of frames you as a consumer, limited by what you have right now. But the second question, how can I make that afford me? That completely flips the script. It turns you into a creator, someone focused on building things to get what you want. That tiny little shift in language, it changes absolutely everything.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to unpack 5 fundamental mindset shifts that really separate these two ways of thinking. We'll look at how you see the world, your relationship with time, what you do with your money, how you handle your emotions, and what's really driving your decisions day to day.
So first up on our map, scarcity versus abundance. Now, this isn't just some feel-good concept. It's the foundational lens you see everything through. It's the base that all your other financial habits are built on.
A scarcity mindset basically believes the world is a zero-sum game. For you to get a bigger piece of the pie, someone else has to get a smaller one. But the abundance mindset, it works from a totally different rulebook. It believes that value can be created. So it's not about fighting for a bigger slice, it's about figuring out how to bake more pies. This isn't just optimism. It's a strategic belief that new wealth can always be made.
And this mindset has some real-world consequences, right? It leads to all this defensive behavior. You hold your cards close to your chest, you see a friend's success and feel a pang of jealousy, and you get way too scared of losing what you have to ever risk it for something bigger. It feels like a safe strategy, but really it just boxes you in.
On the flip side, the abundance mindset is all about creation. You share what you know, because a rising tide lifts all boats. You see someone else crushing it and think, hey, that's proof it can be done. And failure? That's not the end of the world. It's just data. It's feedback. This whole approach is about opening new doors, not just locking the ones you already have.
So, once you start seeing the world as a place full of opportunity, the next shift is about the currency you're using. See, most people trade their most limited resource, their time. The wealthy, though, they focus on something way more scalable, leverage.
Just think about the massive difference here. Trading your time for money. That's the classic hamster wheel, isn't it? Your income is always going to be capped by the number of hours in a day. You eventually run out of hours. But leverage is like setting up a huge line of dominoes. You put in the effort once, and the impact just multiplies, creating value for you around the clock.
And what's so cool here is how broad this idea of leverage really is. We're not just talking about borrowing money. Writing a piece of software that 1 million people can use, that's leverage. Creating a video that gets watched while you're literally sleeping, that's leverage. Building a team to bring your vision to life, that's leverage. It's the art of getting more done with less of your own direct effort.
So, just pause for a second and ask yourself that. Your gut reaction says a lot about which path you're on. Are you mainly focused on packing your schedule with billable hours? Or are you focused on building an idea that can work for you long after you've clocked out?
This brings us right to the most practical piece of this whole puzzle. What do you actually do with the money when you get it? Once you've got income, whether it's from your time or from leverage, this next choice is what separates the wealthy from, well, pretty much everyone else.
For so many people, a little pay bump or a bonus, it immediately goes into a lifestyle upgrade. A nicer car, a bigger house. And these things look impressive, but financially, they act like a vacuum cleaner, just constantly sucking money out of your pocket every single month. The rich, however, have a totally different priority. Before they upgrade their lifestyle, they upgrade their asset column. Their number one focus is on buying and building things that will make them more money in the future. And honestly, it's that simple. Let's just forget all the complicated accounting definitions for a second. If it costs you money every month just to own it, it's a liability. If it pays you money every month, it's an asset. The only thing that matters in this way of thinking is which way the cash is flowing. And listen, an asset doesn't have to be a stock or a piece of real estate. Learning a new skill that could double your salary, that's building an asset. Writing a book that sells for years to come, that's building an asset. Even just buying a piece of software that automates a boring part of your job, that's an asset. Think of it like this. An asset is anything that increases your future power to create value. Okay, so this leads us to the internal battlefield, because you can have the perfect strategy,
But it means absolutely nothing if you can't control the one thing that trips most people up, their own emotions. The market's a roller coaster, and your own psychology is the seatbelt.
The wealthy mindset creates this crucial little buffer zone between a feeling and an action. Emotional decisions, that's buying high because everyone's excited and selling low because everyone's panicking. Disciplined decisions mean you stick to the plan you made when you were calm and logical, no matter how chaotic things feel today.
And right at the heart of this discipline is one core psychological superpower: delayed gratification. It is the engine of all wealth creation, period. It's choosing to invest $100 today instead of spending it because you know it can turn into $1,000 down the road. It's the simple but very difficult act of choosing the future you want over the impulse you feel right now.
So how do you keep that discipline going? How do you consistently choose the future you over the now you? Well, you need a really powerful why. You need a North Star. And that brings us to our final big shift, the choice between short-term comfort and a long-term vision. Look, seeking comfort is just our default setting. It's about avoiding pain today. It's taking the easy job, skipping the workout, spending the paycheck because it feels good right now. But following a vision is about making decisions based on where you want to be in 5 or 10 years. And that vision, it becomes this incredible filter, making it super easy to say no to all the stuff that doesn't get you closer to your goal.
And this is where it all just clicks into place. A really powerful vision completely reframes what sacrifice even means. Suddenly, working late on your passion project isn't a sacrifice. It's a down payment on your future freedom. Learning a tough new skill isn't a chore. It's you building the foundation for the person you want to become. Your vision gives real meaning to the daily grind.
So if you only remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. The amount of money in your bank account today, it's just a lagging indicator. It's a scoreboard that reflects your past habits and your mindset. Your financial reality is a direct printout of your internal psychology. You change the thinking, and eventually, the numbers have to follow.
And that leaves us with one last crucial question. The story that you tell yourself about money, about opportunity, about your own potential, is it a story of scarcity or is it a story of abundance? Because in the end, that's the story that's going to write your future.